Hello and welcome back to No BS. Today we return to talking about the Supreme Court in the United States. And today we have great, perhaps excellent news because the new Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett has been confirmed by the United States Senate. That's right. Trump nominated her and introduced her to the world about a month ago. The process has been going on for a few weeks, and finally, just a few days ago, they passed her confirmation. She's been sworn in, and we have a new, beautiful, conservative lady on the Supreme Court. This is obviously a great big win for the right, for conservatives, and really for America and our values. This lady is a really good judge. She respects the Constitution. She's going to enforce our laws to the greatest extent of her ability, and I think her ability is very high. She's super smart. She's had what some might call bipartisan approval, but really the vote was a very partisan one. But regardless, we won. We got her through the Senate, and this has caused many leftists to get triggered. Specifically, today we're going to talk about one very famous left-winger named Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Yes, of course, this is one of her dumb moments of this week, and it's pretty dumb, actually. She's been caught getting very triggered about this confirmation and even suggesting that they pack the Supreme Court a mere minutes after ACB was confirmed. Now, we've talked about this court packing meme and story a few times recently during this election cycle. It's come up for a number of reasons, mainly because when the last Supreme Court justice that passed away, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, was the seat that was opened up because she passed away. Rest in peace, RGB. But looking forward into the future, once that happened, people knew the seat was going to get filled. The Democrats got triggered about it. They said that we shouldn't refill the seat, even though that's the duty of the government. They're supposed to fill it right away in case court cases come up. And then in addition, the left has talked about filling the Supreme Court with more leftists if they win office. They call it packing the Supreme Court. What they want to do is just keep adding more justices to the group. That way, eventually they'll have a majority because they keep adding to the number. And right now there's 9. There's been 9 for like 100 years, and that's the tradition. But they want to make it to like 10, 11, 12, whatever it takes to get them back into the favor and back into the majority. And this is obviously a shady move. This is obviously not respectful to the country, to the people, to the will of the country. And it's basically a suggestion that would pervert one of the 3 branches of government. They want to just take over the judicial branch and totally have reign over that. Judicial branch is very powerful, as are all the other branches of government. But the problem is when you get to the legislative branch, the Senate and the representatives, their power is very much spread out because there's reps from each state, sometimes many reps from the bigger states. So they have a lot less power than, say, the presidential branch or the executive branch, which just has one key figure and he assigns people on his VP and his cabinet and he controls the flow of that side. And then the judicial branch is also very powerful. There's only 9 figures in there, and they make some very strong decisions about the law. So them wanting to take it over, like how AOC has suggested, is a very bad sign, and it's just very brazen of them to claim they want this right out in the open. So here's today's story with more details. It says, Ocasio-Cortez, other Dems called a packed Supreme Court within minutes of Amy Coney Barrett confirmation. So this is their plan. This is what they're proposing straight up. This is also what the presidential candidate for the Democrats, Biden and Harris, they refuse to talk about this issue when asked. They say they won't answer the question, and that's basically just a non-answer. It's saying that they will pack the courts too, but they don't want to claim it and say it outright. They might upset some middle ground voters or other voters that might not be a fan of this kind of shady, aggressive move. So with that said, let's jump into some more details, and you can see the tweets and stuff that have been going around. It says, Representative AOC late Monday called for packing the U.S. Supreme Court just minutes after Judge Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed by the Senate to be the 9th member of the court. Expand the court, Ocasio-Cortez wrote on Twitter just minutes after the final confirmation vote. She later contended there is a legal process for expansion without elaborating. Republicans do this because they don't believe Dems have the stones to play hardball like they do. And for a long time, they've been correct. But do not let them bully the public into thinking their bulldozing is normal, but a response isn't, Ocasio-Cortez wrote. The 52-48 Senate vote was largely along party lines, with no Democrat voting for Barrett's confirmation. Senator Susan Collins was the sole Republican to join all Democrats in voting against Barrett's confirmation after Senate Lisa Murkowski said over the weekend she would vote yes. So there was only one person not partisanly voting on this. It shows that it is a heated confirmation, but it still happened. This happens quite often with votes and stuff in the Senate, and especially in recent times, it gets controversial. The other thing to note here is AOC's introduction, talking about expanding the court, talking talking about there's a legal process to do it. It's like, yeah, I guess if you change the Constitution and all the laws and the rules and the precedent, there's always a way to change and do something with the government, with that power, if you pass a bill or whatever amendment or something like that. But should you do it? Do you want to do it? Does it look great? Is it proper to make it more political when the Supreme Court is even political as it is? They're already very politicized. So to expand it is a very strong suggestion. It's also something that will expose them as hypocrites. As you see, the next turn is, you got to ask yourselves, if the Democrats are this keen on expanding the courts, how would they feel if the Republicans end up doing it? If we win this election and we keep these majorities, we could easily throw in 10 new conservative judges for life. And I feel like they would be very much offended by that. That wouldn't be a fair situation. That wouldn't be the way things were done. What we're doing here now is filling a standing seat. This seat has been there. There's been 9 positions on the Supreme Court. And even though the Democrats try to act like Trump and the Republicans are doing something wrong here, they actually even say that the Republicans are packing the courts. I've heard someone from The View say that recently this week, saying Republicans have been packing the court for years, but that's just not true. That's not what that means. That's a total misunderstanding, either intentionally or from ignorance. But the point is, you're supposed to replace these people when they pass away or retire. There's 9 Supreme Court justices. If any of them need to be replaced, the president nominates someone and the Senate votes on it. That's not packing. That's not doing outside of the normal system. That's just what the current system is. And yes, of course, the president's going to pick someone who he approves of, someone who probably agrees with him and will uphold the law in a way he agrees with. There's nothing wrong with nominating someone that you think will hold your values in a good way. If that's the way you want to do it, that's your right. I mean, that's what you do when you nominate someone for anything. Like if you nominate someone for a job or you nominate them for an award, you're vouching for them. So them picking someone that they don't agree with would be rather odd, actually. And yes, back to the packing thing. The packing thing isn't about replacing seats that were already there. It's about adding new seats and filling them with your cohorts and perverting the whole system. Representative Ilhan Omar also called for an expansion of the Supreme Court, announcing her stance about 3 minutes after AOC's Twitter post by also tweeting, "Expand the court." Remember that Republicans have lost 6 of the last 7 popular votes, but have appointed 6 of the last 9 justices, Omar also wrote. By expanding the court, we fix this broken system and have the court better represent the values of American people. Okay, really low IQ response from Omar. This is a very, very interesting way to put it. Democrats bring this up a lot. They say stuff about the popular vote. They focus on the popular vote a lot. But the fact of the matter is, the president and certain offices, including our presidency in the Americas, yes, it doesn't base it on exactly the popular vote. There's an electoral college. It goes state by state. People have a say in all of the country, including rural areas. And this idea that winning the popular vote gives you something, it just doesn't make sense. It's basically like saying, let's switch to another realm. Let's go to sports. I like using sports analogies for this. This is like the team that lost the World Series. If they said, hey, we might have lost the World Series, we lost the games, but we had more hits than the other team. Like we hit the ball more. Sure, we didn't score. Sure, we didn't run all the way around the bases and score. That's how the rules say you have to win. But we got more hits, guys. I mean, we had more hits, so we must be a better team, you know? And it's just, that's just ridiculous. It's not how you play the game. And if you change the rules, if you did want to go for popular vote, for example, that's what they want to do. They want to change the rules and change a lot of things. And the thing is, if you change the rules, then the strategy changes. It's like Trump would have run a different campaign. He could have won the popular vote if that's what was needed to win the election, but it wasn't. He wanted to score more touchdowns instead of getting more yards on the field. I think those sports analogies really make it play out. You could see how ridiculous it is, how the Democrats want to change the rules. And the way they do it too, it's very sneaky because they want to change the rules on past elections and they use demographics or they use parameters that they already won and act like that's how you score a goal now. That's how you get a run in the game. When really it's just, they wouldn't even consider this if it went the other way around. It's just insane. It's really a mind boggler. Senator Ed Markey posted separately on Twitter, expand the court just 1 minute after Omar without elaborating. Barrett was sworn in by Justice Clarence Thomas, who administered the constitutional oath as the 115th Associate Justice on the Supreme Court a little over an hour after the Senate vote. Democrats have since September threatened to pack the courts if President Donald Trump were to fill the vacancy left by the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg ahead of the November election. If they regain control of the Senate Senate and White House in the upcoming election, Democratic lawmakers have said they will launch a court-packing effort aimed at what they argue would be balancing the ideological makeup of a bench that by design is to be independent of the legislative branch. So they're straight up talking about packing it. That's what expand the court means. That's why they want to add more justices. They don't want to add more conservative justices. They don't want us to expand the court. That's the thing that takes it to the next level. If you see a tweet like this one from Lauren, it says, how funny would it be if Trump gets reelected, expands the court, then appoints conservative justices into all new positions? This was a response to AOC, and I think it has some merit to it. I mean, if you think about it, if these guys are advocating for it, obviously it's okay with them. Should we pack the court? Should Trump pack the courts? Now, I'm not necessarily a big proponent of this. I wouldn't even have thought of this idea necessarily, but since they brought it up, I mean, come on, I guess it's fair game. I guess that's a fair play. And if they're going to do it in their situation, we should probably consider preempting them, because otherwise it's going to get crazy. It's going to get really bad really soon. Court packing had previously been attempted and failed. Democratic President Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1937 had proposed legislation to expand the size of the Supreme Court to a maximum of 15 judges, apparently attempting to reshape the court's ideology so it would stop striking down his New Deal program. So this was another very extreme Democrat from back in the day. I believe he also changed the rules about the presidency and had 3 terms instead of the precedent set by Washington, the first president, who said you only serve 2 terms. Yes, Roosevelt won a 3rd term in 1940. So he changed the rules there. The Democrats are happy to go outside of precedent, to go outside of the norm, even if it's a law or just a friendly precedent set by the president that was later written into law after FDR. FDR had lots of crazy, extreme liberal plans. His New Deal is actually a model and inspiration for AOC's Green New Deal. So this is all fitting. This is all full circle. And you can really see what the Democrats in America are really about and what they have been about for a long time. That about wraps things up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw. Subscribe if you're new, and see you on the next video.